Hey guys, this is Jason Jeffries from the Alliance Project. We're going to do part 2 of the Kybalion, chapter 5 through I don't know yet. So we'll see how far we get. It hasn't had that many views yet, but I'm sure that when everybody that follows the channel catches up and gets their free time, they'll hear it, and we'll have some good discussions on it. But I believe it's really eye-opening to a lot of people because essentially it's stating what science is discovering now way back then. And I mean, that's a miracle in itself. So when you consider that, it becomes more real for a lot of, left brain thinkers, I guess you could say. And the whole idea of this is blending both aspects, your left and right brain, your male and feminine energies, embracing the polarity and understanding the laws of the universe. And after this little series here, we're going to do a teaching on the 12 fundamental laws of the universe, as well as some other stuff. But my computer's freezing up right now, so let me see if I can get my broadband stream to be a little bit wider for my recording purposes. Okay, so hope you guys enjoy. I'm going to light a cigarette with a normal cigarette lighter this time, and we'll go ahead and pick up. Hope you guys enjoy. Let me know your feedback and what you guys think about this type of project where, I actually read the source to you, and then we go over it. I discuss my points, and let the comment section and all that do the rest. So if you guys, like this, and then I'll keep on digging up the good teachings and the hidden knowledge, if you will. The stuff that's not so easy to take. Everybody knows about the Bible, right? And it doesn't make it any better than any of these other sacred texts in any sense that, other than many people have heard it, and the lesson is universally known in that sense. But as I said, it doesn't take away from the other teachings that came before it. If anything, it adds to them. But yeah, here we go. Hope you guys enjoy. All right, let me go to share screen here. Desktop, share screens. Put my big dumb face down here somewhere. That way, makes it more personal. If there's just words on the screen, I don't know, it takes away from it. Let you guys let me know what you think. I took my face away last time I kind of did this, and I had a couple people like, hey man, I like, it's more personal if you're there, so I'll keep myself here. And if you guys think I get in the way and you'd rather just read the text, that's fine too. But I figure I do it this way, you can see where I'm at, you can follow along, and also have something to make it feel more personal, not like you're just, I don't know, like those videos that have the robots talking and shit. But I get annoyed with that. It's like, I don't know, how can you not have the courage just to say something or read a paragraph that you want to get out there or share? How do you have the complete inability to even read? But anyways, people seek for this stuff, so it's like they go looking for it, you know what I mean? So they find it if they're seeking it. So it's not like I'm looking up fucking makeup tutorials and how to do my nails and stuff and then cussing at them. It's because I don't care about that stuff. It doesn't pertain to me. So that's the beauty of YouTube, You can look into things that you want to look into. Chapter 5. The mental universe. The universe is mental, held in the mind of the all. The all is spirit, but what is spirit? This question cannot be answered for the reason that its definition is practically that of the all, which cannot be explained or defined. Spirit is simply a name that men give to the highest conception of infinite living mind. It means the real essence. It means living mind, as much superior to life and mind as we know them, as the latter are superior to mechanical energy and matter. Spirit transcends our understanding. We use the term merely that we may think or speak of the all. For the purposes of thought and understanding, we are justified in the thinking of spirit as infinite living mind, and at the same time acknowledging that we cannot fully understand it. We must either do this or stop thinking of the matter at all. Okay, so to come to the acceptance that this is inconceivable, the source that we all are connected to and come from is so vast it's inconceivable, is the only way to really not lose your mind in this state of consciousness, is what they're saying. If you dwell on it too much, you'll go insane and you won't even be a fucking useful part of society or life at all. So, and you can look at that. That goes like the crazy cults and just about anything. I don't want to say anything offensive because there's a lot of people that get offended just about over anything anymore. So I won't say anything about any particular religions or beliefs or anything like that, but we'll just say there's cults out there that take things too far. Just let us now proceed to the consideration of the nature of the universe as a whole and then its parts. What is the universe? We have seen that there can be nothing outside of the all. Then is the universe the all? No, this cannot be, because the universe seems to be made up of many and is constantly changing. In other ways, it does not measure up to the ideas that we are compelled to accepting regarding the all, as stated in our last lesson. Then if the universe be not the all, then it must be nothing. Such is the inevitable conclusion of the mind at first thought. But this will not satisfy the question, for we are sensible of existence of the universe. Then if the universe is neither the all nor nothing, what can it be? Let's examine this question. If the universe exists at all, or seems to exist, it must proceed in some way from the all. It must be a creation of the all. But something can never come from nothing. From what could the all have created? Some philosophers have answered this question by saying the all created the universe from itself, that is, from being in substance of the all. But this will not do, for the all cannot be subtracted from nor divided, as we have seen. And then again, if this be so, would not each particle in the universe be aware of its being the all, and the all could not lose its knowledge of itself, nor become an atom or blind force or a lowly living thing? Some men indeed realizing the all is indeed all, and also recognizing that men existed, have jumped to the conclusion that they and the all were identical. They have filled the air with shouts of "I am God," to the amusement of the multitude and the sorrow of the sages. Claim of the corpuscle, "I am man," would be modest in comparison. They're saying that just because you come from the source don't mean you are the source. But the source can't go down to an elementary particle that has no soul and is just one aspect, like energy, matter. There's no life there. So you can go back to the previous lessons for that one. But what indeed is the universe if be not the all, not yet created by the all, having separated into itself into fragments? What else can it be, or what else can it be made? This is the great question. Let us examine it carefully. We find here that the principle of correspondence, see lesson 1, comes to our aid here. The old Hermetic axiom, as above, so below, may be pressed into service at this point. Let us endeavor to get a glimpse of the workings on the higher planes, examining those on our own. The principle of correspondence must apply to this as well as to other problems. Let us see, on his own plane of being, how does man create? Well, first he must create something out of outside materials, but this will not do, for there are no materials outside of the all with which it may create. Well, then secondly, man procreates or reproduces his kind by processing or begetting, which is self-multiplication accomplished by transferring a portion of his substance to his offspring. But this will not do, because the all cannot transfer or subtract a portion of itself, nor can it reproduce or multiply itself. In the first place, there would be a taking away, and in the second case, a multiplication or addition to the all, both thoughts being in an absurdity. Is there no way in which man creates? Yes, there is. He creates mentally, and in so doing, he uses no outside materials, nor does he reproduce himself, and yet his spirit pervades the mental creation. The following is the principle of following the principle of correspondence. We are justified in considering the all creates the universe mentally, in a manner akin to the process whereby man creates mental images. So this goes into the holographic universe aspect, and how we're all interconnected and tied into source, right? And how our thoughts change things. And then here's where the report of the reasons tally precisely with the report of the illumined, and as shown by their teachings and writings. Such are the teachings of wise men. Such are the teachings of Hermes. All can create in no other way except mentally, without either using material, and as there is none to use, or else reproducing itself, which is also impossible, because it's already everything. It can't multiply because it is everything. There's no escape from the conclusion of reason, which, as we have said, agrees with the highest teachings of the illumined. Just as you saw, student, may create a universe of your own in your mentality, so does the all create universes in its own mentality. But your universe is the mental creation of the finite mind, whereas the all is the creation of the infinite. The two are similar in kind, but infinitely different in degree. We shall examine more closely in the process of creation and manifestations as we proceed. Put this point to fix in your mind the stage. The universe and all it contains is a mental creation of the all. Verily indeed, all is mind. You can take this to a practical sense when, as I've said to people 100 times, trying to get them to conceive this as I see it, to see what I see. And that is, anytime you want to do something or create anything, and you can go to the simplest principle, like a peanut butter sandwich. That was always the reference I used. The first thing you do is create it in your mind. You make a mental picture of this peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and you know that you need bread, you need peanut butter, you need jelly and a butter knife, and you do that mentally before each step, and then it becomes real, it becomes a reality, it becomes manifest, and you do it. So in higher densities of living, your thoughts, since it's a higher density, we're in lower density, so everything's heavier and denser and closer together, so much that we can touch vibrations, when you think of it that way, the atoms and particles are so far apart that thought can actually interact with them and create, manifest, and make things. They could even phase them into this lower dimension by, lowering the vibration. But that's a teaching for another time. The all creates in its infinite mind countless universes, which exists for eons and times, and yet the all, the creation, the development, decline, and death of millions of universes is the time of a twinkling in an eye, meaning from the perception of this source, this divinity that we all come from. It's just the blink of an eye. It's a cycle. It's a second or anything small to them, but there are much larger cycles to us. Just like skin cells, hair cells, they die, or mayflies, they live and die in a day, or you reproduce your cells and they live and they die, but they're part of a bigger thing, right? Which lives a lot longer. They may not be consciously aware of it, but they subconsciously are connected and know they have a job to do. The infinite mind of the all is the womb of the universes. The principle of gender, see lesson 1 and other lessons to follow, is manifested on all planes of life, material, mental, and spiritual. But as we've said before, gender does not mean sex. Sex is merely a material manifestation of gender. Gender means relating to generation or creation. And whenever anything is generated or created on any plane, the principle of gender must be manifested. And if this is true, even in the creation of universes. Now, to do not jump to the conclusions that we're teaching that there's a male and female God or creator. That idea is merely a distortion of an ancient teaching on the subject. The true teaching is that the all in itself is above gender, as it is above every other law, including those of time and space. It is the law from which the laws proceed, and is not subject to them. But when the all manifests on the plane of generation and creation, then it acts according to the law in principle, for it is moving on the lower plane of being, and consequently it manifests the principle of gender, and in the masculine and feminine aspects on the mental plane, of course. This idea may seem startling to some of you who hear it for the first time, but you have already passively accepted it in your everyday conceptions. You speak of the fatherhood of God and the motherhood of nature, of God, the divine father, the nature is the universal mother, and have thus instinctively acknowledged the principle and gender in the universe. Is this not so? But the Hermetic teachings does not imply a real duality. The all is one. Two aspects are merely aspects of the same manifestation. Teaching is the masculine principle manifested by the all. It stands in a way apart from the actual mental creation of the universe. It projects its will towards the feminine principle, which will be called nature, whereupon the latter begins the actual work of the evolution of the universe. From simple centers of activity onto man, and then still onto higher, all according with well-established and firmly enforced laws of nature. If you prefer the old figures of thought, you may think of the masculine principle as God, the Father, and the feminine principle as nature, the universal mother, from whose womb all things have been born. This is more than a mere poetic figure of speech. It is an idea of actual process of the creation of the universe. But always remember that the all is but one, and that its infinite mind and that in its infinite mind the universe is generated, created and exists. Apologize for that. It may help you to get a proper idea if you apply the law of correspondence to yourself and your own mind. You know, the part of you, which you call I, in a sense, stands apart and witnesses the creation of mental images in your own mind. The part of your mind in which the mental generation is accomplished may be called the me, in distinction from the I, which stands apart and witnesses examines the thoughts, the ideas and images of me, as above, so below. Remember, the phenomena of one plane may be employed to solve the riddles of higher and lower planes. So it's in one sense that what it's saying is one, your subconscious and your conscious thought, right? I and me. Like, you want to see something, so you create a mental picture of it, and then you have an observation point, right? Is it any wonder that you, the child, feel the instinctive reverence for the all, which feeling we call religion, that respect and the reverence for the father mind? Is it any wonder that when you consider the works and wonder of nature, you are overcome with a mighty feeling which has its roots away down in your inmost being? It is the mother mind that you are pressing close to, like a babe to the breast. Do not make the mistake of supposing the little worlds you see around you, the earth, which is a mere grain of dust in the universe itself. There are millions upon millions of such worlds, and greater, and there are millions and millions of such universes in existence with the infinite mind of the all. And even in our own little solar system, there are regions and planes of life far higher than ours, and being compared to which we earthbound mortals are slimy life forms that dwell on the ocean beds when compared to man. There are beings with powers and attributes higher than man has ever dreamed of God's possessing, and yet those beings were once as you and still lower. And you will be even as they and still higher in time, for such is the destiny of man, as reported by the illumined. And death is not real, even in the relative sense. It is birth to a new life, and you shall go on and on and on to higher and still higher planes for eons and eons of time. The universe is your home, and you shall explore its farthest recesses before the end of time. You are dwelling in the infinite mind of the all. Your possibilities and opportunities are infinite, both in time and space. And at the end of the grand cycle of the eons, the all shall draw you back into itself for all of its creations. You will gladly go, for you will then be able to know the whole truth of being at one with the all, such as reported by the illumined, those who have advanced well along the path. And in the meantime, rest calm and serene. You are safe and protected by the infinite power of the Father-Mother mind. Within the Father-Mother mind, mortal children are at home. There's not one who is fatherless nor motherless in the universe. Chapter 6, The Divine Paradox. The half-wise, recognizing the comparative unreality of the universe, imagine that they may defy its laws. Such are vain and presumptuous fools, and they are broken against the rocks and torn asunder by the elements by reason of their folly. The truly wise, knowing the nature of the universe, use law against laws, the higher against lower, and by the art of alchemy transmute that which is undesirable into what is worthy, and thus triumph. Mastery consists not of abnormal dreams, visions, and fantastic imagings of limning, but is in the higher forces against the lower, escaping the pains of the lower planes by vibrating on the higher. Transmutation, not presumptuous denial, is the weapon of the master. So meaning, don't accept that life sucks. Be happy and live in a better existence. Move on to a higher being. Don't dwell in the past. To make the future, you got to leave the past. That's the whole idea of alchemy, turning something like lead into gold. Turning a man into a god. In the sense that God-like from our perspective, in our understanding of the word, not the all, right? Not the source, the creation, so don't misquote me there. So this is the paradox of the universe, resulting from the principle of polarity which manifests when the all begins to create. Hearken to its points the difference between half wisdom and wisdom. While to the infinite all, the universe, its laws, its powers, its life, its phenomena are things witnessed in the state of meditation or dream. Yet to all that is finite, the universe must be treated as real, and life, and action, and thought. It must be based thereupon. Accordingly, although with an ever understanding of higher truth, each according to its own plane and laws. Were the all to imagine that the universe were indeed reality, then woe the universe. There would be then no escape from higher to lower, divineward. Then would the universe become fixity, and progress would become impossible. And if man, owing to half wisdom, acts and lives and thinks the universe is merely a dream, akin to his own finite dreams, then indeed does it become so for him. And like a sleepwalker, he stumbles around and around in circle, making no progress, being forced into an awakening at last by his falling and bruised and bleeding over the natural laws which he ignored. Keep your mind ever on the star, but let your eyes watch over your footsteps, lest you not fall mire by the reason of your upward gaze. Remember the divine paradox, that while the universe is not, it still is. Remember that ever the two poles of truth, the absolute and the relative. Beware of half truths. Well, so what it's saying is, don't be afraid to look upward and have hope in anything like that. But also, take the teachings of people that come before you. They're there for a reason. You know, your mom told you to brush your teeth for a reason. If your teeth are falling out of your head, it's because you didn't listen to her. You know. Those kind of things. It's the same aspect. And to keep your mind in the present as well, stay grounded. There's always a polarity and opposite. Keep your mind where you are and what you're doing. what Hermeticists know as the law of paradox is an aspect of the principle of polarity. The Hermetic writings are filled with references to the appearance of paradox and the consideration of the problems of life and being. The teachers are constantly warning their students against the error of omitting the other side of any question. And their warnings are particularly directed to the problems of the absolute and relative, which perplex all students of philosophy and which cause so many to think of it or act contrary to what is generally known as common sense. And we caution all students to be sure to grasp the divine paradox of the absolute and relative, lest they become entangled into the mire of half-truth. With this in view is the particular lesson that has been written. Read it carefully. First thought that comes to the thinking man after he realizes the truth that the universe is a mental creation of the all is that the universe and all that it contains are mere illusions, an unreality, against which an idea is instincts revolt. It means like that idea doesn't sit well with people. They're like, huh? That this, like all other great truths, must be considered both from the absolute and relative points of view. From the absolute viewpoints, of course, the universe is in nature of an illusion, a dream, phantasmagoria, as compared to the all in itself. We recognize this in even our ordinary view, for we speak of the world as a fleeting show that comes and goes, borns and dies, for the element of impermanence and change, finiteness and unsubstantiality must ever be connected with the idea of created universe when it's contrasted with the idea of the all, no matter what may be our beliefs concerning the nature of both. Philosopher, metaphysician, scientist, and theologian all agree upon this idea, and the thought is found in all forms of philosophical thought and religious conceptions, as well as in the theories of respective schools of metaphysics and theology. So the Hermetic teachings do not preach unsubstantiality of the universe in any stronger terms than those more familiar to you, although their presentation of the subject seems somewhat more startling. Anything that has a beginning and ending must be, in a sense, unreal and untrue. Wait, I read that wrong. Anything that has a beginning and an ending must be, in a sense, unreal and untrue. And the universe comes under the rule in all schools of thought. From the absolute point of view, there is nothing real except the all, no matter what terms we may use of thinking of it or discussing the subject. Whether the universe be created of matter or whether it be a mental creation in the mind of the all, it is unsubstantial, non-enduring, a thing of time, space, and change. We want you to realize this fact thoroughly before you pass judgment on the Hermetic conception of the mental nature of the universe. Think over any and all other conceptions and see whether this not be true of them. But the absolute point of view shows merely one side of the picture, and the other side is a relative one. Absolute truth has been defined as things as the mind God knows them, while relative truth is the things in the highest reason of man understands them. And so, while to the all the universe must be unreal and illusionary, the mere dream or result of meditation, nevertheless, to the finite mind forming a part of the universe and viewing it through mortal faculties, the universe is very real indeed and must be so considered. And recognize the absolute view, we must not make the mistake of ignoring or denying the facts of phenomena of the universe as they present themselves to our mortal faculties. We are not the all, remember. Saying we are a speck of dust or a grain of sand in this huge consciousness. We can't even begin to conceive this. But what they're saying, what is real is this source. And if we're just like a holographic interpretation almost, like you're playing a video game that was based on creation and divinity and like being the all, right? You get to be taken from source and go back to source, right? It's like a matrix, right? Like a holographic matrix that you go through this experience, you get to experience this. But So from our human capabilities and everything that we know and can feel, that it is very real to us. But also there's also something that we know. It's like you're a ghost steering a skeleton, you know, spinning on a rock through space. It's pretty crazy. Once people start to look at things for what they really are, they can do that. To make familiar illustrations, we recognize the fact of the matter that matter exists to our senses. We will fare badly if we do not. And yet, even our finite minds understand the scientific dictum that there is no such thing as matter from a scientific point of view. That which we call matter is held to merely an aggregation of atoms, which atoms themselves are merely a grouping of units of force called electrons or ions vibrating in a constant circular motion. We kick a stone, we feel the impact, it seems to be real. Notwithstanding that, we know it to be merely what we have stated above. But remember that our foot, which feels the impact by the means of our brains, is likewise matter, so constituted of electrons. For the matter, so are our brains. And at best, if we are not by reason of our mind, we would not know the foot or stone at all. Then again, the ideal of the artist or sculptor, which is he endeavoring to reproduce in stone or on canvas, seems very real to him. So do the characters in the mind of the author, or dramatist, which he seeks to express so that others may recognize them. And if this be true in the case of our finite minds, what must be the degree of reality in the mental images created in the mind of the infinite? Oh, friends, to mortals, this universe of mentality is very real indeed. It is only one we can ever know. It's the only one we can ever know. Through we rise from plane to plane, higher and higher. Though we rise plane to plane, higher and higher. To know it otherwise, but actual experience, we must be the all itself. It is true that the higher we rise in the scale, the nearer to the mind of the Father we reach, and the more apparent becomes the illusionary nature of the finite things. But not until the all finally withdraws us into itself does the vision actually vanish. The illusion goes away, right? When we go back to source. And that doesn't mean passing on. That means many lifetimes and many teachings, many learnings, and getting to the source of the absolute truth. So we need not dwell upon the future of illusion. Rather, let us, recognizing the real nature of the universe, seek to understand its mental laws and endeavor to use them in the best effect in our upward progress through life as we travel from plane to plane of being. The laws of the universe are nonetheless iron laws because the mental nature. All except the all are bound to them. What is in the infinite mind of the all is real in a second degree, only the reality itself which is invested in the nature of the all. So do not feel insecure or afraid. We are held firmly in the infinite mind of the all, and there is naught to hurt or fear for us. There's nothing to hurt us or fear, or for us to fear. There's no power outside of the all to affect us, so we rest calm and secure. There's a world of comfort and security in this realization when attained. Then calm and peaceful do we sleep, rocked in the cradle of the deep, resting safely on the bosom of the ocean of the infinite mind, which is the all. In the all, indeed, we do live and move and have our being. Matter is nonetheless matter to us, while we dwell upon the plane of matter, although we know it to be merely an aggregation of electrons, or particles and forces, vibrating rapidly and gyrating around each other in the formations of atoms. The atoms turning and vibrating and gyrating, forming molecules, which latter in turn form larger masses of matter. Nor does matter become less matter. When we follow the inquiry still further and learn the Hermetic teachings that the force of which the electrons are but units is merely a manifestation in the mind of the all, and like all else in the universe, purely mental in its nature. While on the plane of matter, we must recognize its phenomena. We may control matter, as all masters of higher or lesser degree do, but we do so by applying the higher forces. We commit a folly when we attempt to deny the existence of matter in the relative aspect, We may deny its mastery over us, and rightly so, but we should not apply to ignore it in its relative aspect, at least so long as we dwell upon this plane. Nor do the laws of nature become less constant or effective when we know them, likewise, to be merely mental creations. They are in full effect on the various planes. We overcome the lower laws by applying the still higher ones, and in this way only. But we cannot escape the law or rise above it in its entirety. Nothing but the all can escape the law. And that because the all is law itself, from which all law emerges. The most advanced masters may acquire the powers usually attributed to the gods of men, and there are countless ranks of being in the great hierarchy of life, whose being and power transcends even the highest masters among men to the degree of unthinkable by mortals. But even the highest masters and the highest being must bow to the law, and be as nothing in the eye of the all, and that even these highest beings, whose powers exceed even those attributed by men to their gods, even these who are bound by and are subservient to the law, then imagine the presumption of mortal men and of our race and grade, when he dares to consider the law of nature as unreal, visionary, and illusionary, because he happens to be able to grasp the truth that the laws are mental in nature and simply mental creations of the all. Those laws which the all intends to be governing laws are not to be defied or argued away, so long as the universe endures, which they will endure, for the universe exists by virtue of these laws, which form its framework and which hold it together. The Hermetic principle of mentalism, while explaining the true nature of the universe upon the principle that all is mental, does not change the scientific conceptions of the universe, life, or evolution. In fact, since science merely corroborates the Hermetic teachings, the latter merely teaches that nature of the universe is mental, while modern science has taught that it is material, or of late that it is energy, as at the last analysis. The Hermetic teachings have no fault to find with Herbert Spencer's basic principle, which postulates the existence of an infinite and eternal energy from which all things proceed. In fact, Hermetics recognizes Spencer's philosophy, the highest outside statement of the workings of the natural laws that have ever been promulgated. And they believe Spencer to be a reincarnation of an ancient philosopher who dwelt in the ancient Egypt 1,000 years ago, and who later incarnated as Heraclius, the Grecian philosopher who lived in 500 BC, and they regard his statement of the infinite and eternal energy as directly in line with Hermetic teachings, always with the addition of their own doctrine that his energy is the energy of the mind of the all. With the master key of Hermetic philosophy, the student of Spencer will be able to unlock many doors in the inner philosophical conceptions of the great English philosopher, whose work shows the results of preparation of his previous incarnations. His teachings regarding the evolution and rhythm are almost perfect agreement with the Hermetic teachings regarding the principle of rhythm. So there's a good source for you. So the student of Hermetics need not lay aside any of his cherished scientific views regarding the universe. All he is asked to do is grasp the underlying principle. The all is mind, the universe is mental, held in the mind of the all. You will find that the other 6 of the 7 principles will fit into his scientific knowledge and will serve to bring out obscure points and to throw light into dark corners. This is not to be wondered at when we realize the influence of Hermetic thought of the early philosophers of Greece, upon whose foundations of thought and theories of modern science largely rest. The acceptance of the first Hermetic principle, mentalism, is the only great viewpoint difference between modern science and Hermetic students. And science is gradually moving upwards towards the Hermetic position, and it's groping in the dark for a way out of the labyrinth into which it has wandered into in its search for reality. The purpose of this lesson is to impress upon the minds of our students the fact that to all intents and purpose, the universe and its laws and its phenomena are just as real, so far as man is concerned, as they would be under the hypothesis of materialism or energism. Under any hypothesis, the universe in its outer aspects is changing, ever-flowing, and transitionary, and therefore devoid of substantiality and reality. But note the other pole of the truth. Under the same hypothesis, we are compelled to act and live as if the fleeting things were real and substantial. With this difference, always between the various hypotheses, that under the old views, mental power was ignored as a natural force, while under mentalism it becomes the greatest natural force. And this one difference revolutionizes life to those who understand the principle and its resulting laws of practice. So finally, students all grasp the advantage of mentalism. Learn to know, use, and apply the laws resulting therefrom. But do not yield the temptation which, as the Kybalion states, overcomes the half-wise and which causes them to be hypnotized by their apparent unreality of things. The consequence being that they wandered about like dream people, dwelling in the world of dreams, ignoring the practical worth of life and life of man. In the end, that they are broken against the rocks and torn asunder by the elements by reason of their folly. Rather follow the example of the wise, which the same authority states. Use law against laws, the higher against lower, and by the art of alchemy transmute which is undesirable into which is worthy, and thus triumph. Following the authority, let us avoid the half-wisdom, which is folly, which ignores the truth that mastery consists not in abnormal dreams, visions, and fantastic images or living, but in using the higher forces against the lower, escaping the pains of the lower planes by vibrating on the higher. Remember always, student, that transmutation, not presumptuous denial, is the weapon of the master. Above quotations are from the Kybalion and worthy of being committed to the memory by the student. We do not live in a world of dreams, but in a universe which, while relative, is real so far as our lives and actions are concerned. Our business in the universe is to not deny its existence, but to live, using the laws to rise from the lower and higher, living on, doing the best that we can to understand under the circumstances arising each day, and living, so far as possible, to our biggest ideas and ideals. The true meaning of life is not known to men on this plane, if indeed to any, but the highest authorities and our own intuitions teach us all that we will make no mistake in living upon the best that is in us so far as it is possible, and realizing the universal tendency in the same direction in spite of apparent evidence to the contrary. We are all on the path, and the road leads ever upward, with frequent resting places. Read the message of the Kybalion and follow the example of the wise, avoiding the mistake of the half-wise who perish by reason of their folly. Okay, guys, it's getting late. Tomorrow we'll pick it up with chapter 7, the all in all. Then we'll start it with a quote and end it with a quote. While all is in the all, it is equally true that the all is in all. To him who truly understands this, truth hath come great knowledge. All right, so ponder on that. While all is in the all, so while everything is part of the source, it is equally true that the source is in all of us. Deep stuff, man. All right, guys. Like I said, I'm fucking tired, so I hope you enjoyed. I made a promise I'd get part 2 up there for the ones that actually listened to part 1, and yeah, enjoy. Part 3 tomorrow, I promise.